I was listening very carefully what you were discussing yesterday and all the presentation today. So I will try to avoid saying exactly the same because it's late, and I'm really glad that you are still here, because I know how hard it is to sit in one place for so many time. Okay, there's one thing missing on this conference, and I was really surprised about it today when I was walking down the Malastrana. It's one thing, our needs as a caregivers, as a specialists, why we are working in hospice. What do we need in this job? I think it's a very interesting thing, and I suggest you to think about it when you go to work, or maybe it's even more important when you don't want to go to work that day, when it's when you have a crisis or something is wrong. Being aware of our own needs is also important when you are working with other people, because if you don't know what you want, then maybe one day you will try to force someone to do the thing that you want, not what that person needs. So we have to be very careful about our own needs in this work. This picture is here because one of our needs that we really often neglect when we are working with people is our own comfort and our own rest. Many people in Poland working in hospice or in hospital doesn't take sick leave. They don't go on vacation. They work 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's really, really often, and it's really bad for the people they are helping. Okay, so let's start. This is a quote from a mother. I will elaborate it a bit later. This is a slide from yesterday's presentation. I've passed it because I had no time, and I want to ask you to keep that watch in your hands, because I have a tendency to talk a lot, especially if I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about. It's important to start our work on a true and on a facts. Before we are starting our help, before we take a family under our care, we really long talk with them, and we really try to find what they need, and we are telling them what we can make for them. That makes our situation clear. If they want something that we can't do, or we don't do that because that's our philosophy, like injection, for an example, then they have a clear situation. They are making very important choices at this moment, so they have to have all the information they need to. Yesterday you've been talking about informing patients in hospital. It's also a problem in Poland. That's why we figured out that we have to force the doctors in hospital to tell the parents about the diagnosis and what they can do for them. It's pretty simple. Doctors in Poland doesn't want to have many of those patients on their ward. They want to send them home. But many parents doesn't have equipment that they need. So they call us and our doctor say, okay, we will come, we will talk with them, but you have to tell them everything they need to know, and you have to teach them everything they have to know, and then we will come and we will take them under our care. It's simple, usually, but not in every case. Okay. Then our doctor and our nurse is going to a hospital or home of a patient, then they talk, and then before we will start our help, I'm going to home with my colleague, with social worker, and we are collecting next data about the family, about the financial situation, and we are again asking them what they need and what they want from us. So this way we have two kinds of information about the family, about their needs, about their communication, and about the knowledge about the disease of the child. That's how we start. And on the first visit, the medical team is signing some kind of an agreement with the parents. There are several points about our help, and they are signing it, so they have to read it. It's not just a talk, but it's also something that you put your name under it, so you have to stick it from both sides. And it's working really good, especially in situation when the parents are asking us about something that we said them that we will not do, and they knew it like a month ago, and they forgot it. So we put this agreement in front of them and saying we said that to you. We don't lie. If you don't like it, you can withdraw from our help. It's not a problem. If you need us, okay, but those are rules that we have to keep, and you too. It makes our situation clear, and we avoid many problems this way. Okay, so let's meet parents, because my lecture should be about their needs. It might be a problem because we usually think that it might be quite obvious that if someone is saying that he needs something, then he needs something that he said. But it's not working this way. I was talking about this questionnaire made by our social worker. I have sat down and noted most of the answers. Most often parents said that they need medical care, medical equipment, physiotherapist, social help, psychological help, and volunteer at the last point. But that's what they say first day of our care. It's all, and that's not the truth, to be honest. It's all changed next day. When they have a child in their home and they suddenly know how to cope with many situations because they were trained in hospital. They need much more help of a volunteer and much more someone who will talk with them in proper way than medical help itself. I don't know if I'm talking clear enough. Okay. This is a photo of Tosia's family. It's the first day in home of Tosia. There is a cat. Why this photo? I will use some quotes from her parents. This mother said to me that she needs, and that was her real need, not to be judged. no matter what she will do in her life, no matter what choice she will make, she doesn't want to be judged. And I promised her that I will not judge her, because I'm not a judge, I'm just a psychologist. I'm a guide. I really thank you for this presentation. It was absolutely marvelous. I'm a guide, I'm not a judge. And she made a really hard decision for us as a hospice, including her life decisions about her partner, about father of the Tosia. Especially that we helped that family really, really strong, including finding a new home, buying a food, etc., etc. We invested many time and many money in this family, and yet they did many decisions that they knew we will not like. But we didn't say them that you can't do that. We said that you can do that. It's okay, because it's your life, it's your decision, and you will live on with them. Not me, not our account. I mean, we are not here to judge. You are making decision, and that was something that I heard yesterday. That parents need to be included in making decisions. Of course, so they need. They are primary caregiver, not hospice, not even doctors. They are primary caregivers. That's why they need support and they need a guidance. But not someone who tell them that they have to do what we like. Okay, this is a guy that this topic came from. It was one of my first patients in hospice for children. It's Kasper. I was asking his mom, what do you want from us for yourself? Not for your child, but for yourself. She answered that she wants one thing. I want you to make him laugh. That's all I need. So we did it, but it wasn't her need. She didn't notice it that he's laughing over 2 hours, and she was sitting next to him. She didn't notice it because she was so occupied with documents from a court. She had problems with hospital where Kasper was born. She was, in other words, completely different kind of needs. She needed one thing: someone who tell her and ask her, "Do you notice what you are losing now?" Someone who will tell her a truth and confront her with reality. She asked us about helping her child, making him happier, and we did it, but she didn't notice it. She missed a few weeks of his life, and at the very beginning of our help, she was thinking about completely different kind of situations. So she sat down, cried, threw those documents, and never came back to them. It wasn't important as much as she thought that day. Suddenly, she realized that many times she just missing fun in her life. She's missing fun in life of her son because she's so occupied with many problems that family had, and they really had many problems, but she didn't tell us about them. When she did, we helped her to solve them. They needed money. They needed you call it respite. It's okay. They need help. They need someone who will stay with him. That was what they need. They need to get to start living in normal way. That was their and her need. But she couldn't tell us about it because she didn't know it, what she needs the most. So we are going back to this language school that you talk about. It was great. Sometimes you just have to figure it out what they need. It's sometimes it's a hard work, but sometimes it's pretty simple. Like with him, you just have to be careful what is going on. You be aware what is going on, and ask them if this is what you really need, or maybe this. And when you stop someone in such a situation, he will start to think what's really important. Okay. First of all, I forgot to say, our help is a process, same as diagnosis, same as therapy. It's a process. So everything does change during our help. We have to be aware that some families are different. I hate to do this. I'm against it, but I was forced to make those groups. Because somehow I think it's true. They have different needs. And it was said here. I think that yesterday. Parents a child with life-shortening disease. We have a situation when we have to act usually much faster than we do in hospice for children. They need to full information. They need questions that are usually avoid about reanimation, resuscitation, about calling ambulance, about the things that they want to do if the child will die. For example, they can ask us to be when their children will be in a terminal phase of the disease. We do that. They can pick up anyone from the team. Usually they take a nurse that is caring, that is nurse that's helping this family, this key worker that was mentioned yesterday. But from time to time they want almost all of us in the house when the child is in terminal condition. So that's one situation. We have to ask many questions, hard questions, and really keep it in mind that it might be too late to ask them, and we will miss a very important part of our care. I will talk about it a bit later. Parents with child life-limiting disease. This is something different because we have many patients in this condition in our hospice, and they have plenty different needs, and you have to really pick them up and carry everyone. For example, we have to remember that their child will be in pretty good shape for many years, so they have to live on. And the question is how. They need someone who will help them. They need a volunteer. They need someone who will be trained to help them with basic things in their home. We try to teach also relatives in family how to help our patient. this way, mother or father can go to work or can just go to hairdresser from time to time, which is almost impossible in many families. And that's the third group is one of my favorite. We have quite many patients that were premature born. And those parents, in my opinion, are completely different. They are, first of all, they are trained like best nurse on an ICU. Second thing, they spent 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months in a hospital. They lived there. They devoted everything to keep their child alive. So they want the same from us. They want us to keep their child alive. And we are the hospice worker. There is a little conflict in it. But we've tried to solve it in one way. We sign an agreement for a month or 3, so they can live, go out from hospital with our equipment and with our help for some time, and then their primary need, which is lack of fear, is fulfilled. They are firm, strong, they know what to do. Then they can say to us, we don't need you anymore. And that's okay for us, because they really don't need us anymore after a few months, usually. But that's okay. And that's the thing that we do quite often. We help some of the families for a really short period of time. Because they need it, and there's no one who can do that. It's the same like you have the problem with children in respiratory home care. It's not palliative, as I heard. Yes, well, it is, but it's a problem. Parents with premature born child also drop in the black hole in Poland, so we try to help them. You have to be really aware that they really devoted everything to keep their child alive. Their money, their time, often their marriage. So they spend most of their resources. They are exhausted, they are frustrated, and you can't just tell them or ask them if they want to save their children if it will start dying. They will be really angry with that question. But you have to ask them about it if you work in hospice, but not in the very first day of our care. So asking questions about the parents' needs also need a proper time and proper conditions. Treat my child in a normal way. It's pretty simple, but usually people don't treat even someone with autism like a normal person. And we do that with people who are really in bad shape. We play with children. We talk to them. We do everything that would do a healthy child. Why not? Why he can't go to a zoo? It's pretty simple. Parents want from us to treat their child just like a normal child. You can't treat it like a number. It's really important to remember about it, because there was some situation I was a witness when a nurse walked into the home and didn't said hello to a child as a first. She was burned into that house. She couldn't go there again. Mom was really angry about it because she didn't treated the child as a person. It's you have to be really aware about such things and treat us as a parent and as a family as a completely normal person. This is a photo from one of our big festivals of joy, and it's okay. It's in the zoo, and there are plenty of things. I have 2 minutes, so I'll be start talking about a bit faster. We treat them like we treat everyone around. Usually, it's not good if you think about it, but from time to time they become our friends somehow. That's risky, but sometimes it's really good. And they need fun. Parents need fun and they need rest, and we give that to them. They don't ask about it. They just say that they are tired. But they never asked me, can we go somewhere? Because they count, we count, it's not proper, we have a sick child, you know, and what are you talking about? I won't leave it in the house, and so we force them to go on a party, inviting their children. If the children will come, then the parents also. And then we grab the child and run. They have to carry with them alone. So, sorry. Children have fun, are having fun there, and parents also are having fun there. It was really amused once when on a family picnic, all our volunteers suddenly just took all the babies. And there was the 2 seconds of complete panic. Where are they? Oh my God! Will they manage? And after those few minutes, parents just grabbed a coffee and sat down and started to talk. They really need it, but they don't ask about it. You have to figure it out on yourself, on your own. Okay, information. I was talking about it yesterday when I was talking about 2 briefings every day. We are collecting every information because it's important if you want to figure it out on your own what the parents really need, not what they say. If you notice that there is a little mess in the house and you add to it that the father lost his job and he only and this was the only source of the money in the house, then you can figure it out what to propose to that family. They don't have to ask about it, and usually they don't ask about many things. So you have to say them, hi. Well, I was thinking about that. Can we do that this for you? We do it for everyone, so we want to propose this also to you. Even if we don't do that for everyone, they don't have to know about it, but they will be feeling much better with that information that everyone in hospice can have the same. Little lie, but not so little. Not so harmful. We should be really aware about the changes, especially that when our help is really long, when our care is really long, because parents from last year might not be the same parents this year. They are changing, and condition of the child also is changing, and conditions around them also are changing. So their needs are different over time. This is a Tosia. It's a photo from a vacation. They didn't ask it about those vacation. They just said that they are tired. They have enough. They want to that mom said that she wants to go out from her home and never come back. So we sent them to the vacation. She didn't want to back to home, but from different reasons. Father, this is something I wanted to talk about a bit longer than 1 minute, but I'm over time still. Father is a very interesting person because it's unseen, unrespected, and underestimated, and that happens from us and from their own family members. Almost every, because they are at work, at least in my hospice, for 12 hours, so they are not in home. Or even if they are in home, like this man, then they didn't spend the time in hospital ward, so no one said them what to do. Why? I don't know. But even his wife didn't want to tell him what to do. She wanted to do everything on her own. So she was really tired after 2 weeks of care at home. And they're starting to fight. So when parents are fighting, you are calling psychologists, like a fairy. So I came there and listened to them for 3 hours. They were fighting in front of me for over 3 hours. And I asked his wife about one thing. Why do you want to? Why are you putting all those things on your back? You don't have to do that. But she responded that he doesn't know what to do. And I asked her, how did you manage all this to acquire all this knowledge? She said, they show it me at the hospital. Okay, so why don't you do the same? She said, he should know that. And why he should know that? Well, he's watching me. Okay, so how did you learn all those things? No, she said, I was doing it in the hospital. Okay, so if you learned that thing by action, then why don't you allow him to act? But that's not the end of the story. She didn't wanted to allow him to do that because she was afraid of death. She was afraid that he will make a mistake because he don't know how to do that, and the child will die. But I asked her one thing. If you are so tired and you are starting to be confused, then why don't you take a risk and learn him, even if he make a mistake? Then probably your child will not die. But if you will be so tired for a long period of time, you will make a mistake for 100%. And you will drop out as a caregiver. And this risk, and she took that risk, and everything is okay now. Problem was a bit wider because this young gentleman have only one hand, and yet he is one of the best caregivers I know. He knows everything, and he knew everything, but she didn't allow him to act and practice. Fathers usually know everything, but they are not allowed to do that. It's so. For me, it's so weird. I'm listening about being tired, about having enough, about bad husband, etc., etc. But when I ask, do you talk with your husband about it, and do you allow him to be a father? Then usually I hear a quite long silence because they can't do many things at home. Yet they are one of the best guys I ever met. Not every father is, but most of the guys I know in hospice are. Problem is that we often don't see them, even we as the workers. And that means that we will not respect them as caregivers, because we don't know them. They are at work. So we have to try to arrange a meeting with a father from time to time. I often work in different hours than I should. I just call and ask them, hey, is it okay if I'll be around 7 p.m.? We will drink a tea and talk about a few things. They agree. They agree usually. Not every time, because they have their own intimacy and their own time, but usually they agree. And about working time, it's important for many parents, and they don't tell us about it till something goes wrong. We work from 8 to 3 p.m. Because we respect the parents' time. They have to have a time in a day when there is no one from outside in their home. They have teachers, they have physiotherapists and hospice and plenty people coming to their home, so they need time for their own, so they can talk, eat, play, having sex, which is not so common among our parents. I've checked it. I'm questioning about it without any problems, and they say that they don't sleep with each other usually. Mothers sleep with child, almost in 16% of cases. And they don't eat in one place, they don't see each other, so the family is really in bad condition usually, especially when we are talking about family with a child with limiting disease. Okay, and here we are at the end. This is Roxana, one of my beloved patients. She died 1 year ago. Her mother asked me about one thing: stay with us. Just stay. She didn't ask me about anything else. She asked about that after Roxana died, and she asked me before it many times. They need us, not because we are professionals, but we try to understand them, and we don't judge them, and we try to figure it out how to help them. That's why they want us to stay. It's really simple. They need us as a person, not as a specialist. It's my opinion. That's why I asked you about your own needs and why do you work in hospice. It's really important because they are depending on us in many situations. Roxana died basically on my hands. We've been eating ice creams, drinking tea, and after 2 hours I asked Mom why she's sleeping so deeply. I knew that she is dying. So I said that to Mom and to her father, because they asked me to do that, and they asked everyone in hospice about that thing. Many parents want to know when the agony will come and how it will look like. They need that information. When I heard that mother was forced to leave a child in a hospital, I was really angry. It's, I don't know, it's not really awful. They want to know. They want to be with their child. They have a right to make many decisions in that point. So that's why every member of hospice must be trained. I'm a psychologist. I'm not a nurse, but I know how agony looks like and what to do. I know law, and I was even a part of something I call crisis management. I just took a phone and rang to proper places and proper people, and I just was someone like a guide. And everyone in hospice can do that, because they might ask about our social worker, and she has to know what to do also. We are not forced to that, because it's not our job, mine as a psychologist, but I believe that it's really important, because they can depend on every member of our team in many situations. So, and we don't leave them after death. We invite them on our every hour party, and we have two support groups for parents and for children. It's also important thing. It's fulfilling one basic need that they do have all day. All the parents. They want to feel secured. They want to feel that there is someone who knows, who understands, and who will be till the end, or till the moment when they say that they don't need us anymore. Thank you. And this is one thing. We summarize our help. We are asking about their needs at the very beginning of the help, but we are asking them about about the quality of our work when the child is gone. After 1 month, I'm sending a questionnaire, and we are asking him very, very carefully about whole our care, to pick the things that we didn't do properly. There is one thing that we could never achieve, but I don't think that it's a failure. Every parent said that we failed in how to translate that. Przygotowanie do śmierci, może tak to powiem. It's preparation. More like acceptation of a death of their own child. We didn't do that in every case. But one mother said that you can't be ready. Oh, it's making someone ready. Mm-hmm. It's about the state when you are ready. There was one mother that was ready to a death, only one, but she was very, 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 very specific mother. But I was a calm when I read one word, one of the questionnaire. One mother said that it's okay that you couldn't make me ready for the death of my own child, because you can't do that. We knew that he will die. We accepted that, but you can't be ready. Death is always something that comes in not in the proper moment. There is no good moment for death of your own child, and you can't be ready for it. It's always something that surprises us. That's why I think that this question is bad. We have to change it. Okay. That's all I had to say. Thank you.